Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Megan and I have two little babies, two under two. I have a little boy who, I thought she was waking up. I have a little boy, Sean, who will be 2 in January, and then I have my new little girl, and she was born September 30th, and that is, I'm going to do her labor and delivery story. I wish so bad that I would have done one with my first, and I guess I still could. I don't really remember everything though, and that's why I wish I really would have done it. My husband will be like, well, do you remember this part? And I'm like, no, I don't remember that. So I definitely should have done one, so I'm doing one right now with her. I'm now 6 weeks postpartum, and so she's obviously 6 weeks old. And postpartum wise, I'm feeling great. Completely different experience than with my first. But as of like my labor and delivery story, we originally were planning on being induced. My due date was October 3rd, and we were planning on being induced September 30th, which is actually my husband's birthday. And he was like, I really want to have her on our birthday. So we were being induced for that reason, and also being induced for the reason that my mom lives like really far away in Washington, and so we wanted her here for that. And last time with Sean, she was here for a really long time just waiting for him to come out, and so we just planned on being induced. And so we got a phone call the night before we were supposed to go in to get induced. So we were supposed to go in and get induced and be there at like 5 a.m., 5:30 in the morning, I think. And they had called us and said, hey, in the morning, you know, we are full right now, so in the morning will you give us a call and we'll let you know if we want you to come in at 5:30 or if we should just push you back and wait for later in the day. So it's like, okay, that's totally fine, you know, not a big deal. And then the morning rolls around and Tuff gets up and he got ready and he was getting coffee, and I was like, okay, I'll get up. It's 4:30 before, and we hadn't called yet. And I get up and go into the bathroom, and I'm standing there and I'm like, I don't know what I was doing. I was standing there getting ready to get in the shower, I think, and all of a sudden I like felt a little something and I'm like, what the heck? And so I checked, and then all of a sudden my water broke, and I was like, oh my god, I don't know what to do. And I grabbed a towel and I run out into the kitchen, and I'm like, my water just broke. I think my water just broke. And I was like, what? And I was like, yeah. And so he called them. I was like, hey, we were supposed to come in for an induction. He told us to call you. And they're like, oh yeah, you know, just wait. Don't come in yet. And he's like, well, her water just broke. And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, come in. So then in a rush, I was like, kind of like, what the heck? And I have checked before, like, what's it like when your water breaks, or what is the feeling when your water breaks? And everybody, all these posts I was reading was like, it's not like in the movies, it doesn't just gush out and blah blah blah. Yes, it did. It was definitely like in the movies. It just gushed out, and it's not what I was expecting. So the drive to the hospital, I was definitely having contractions on point. They weren't like super painful or anything, but I knew I was having them, and they were very consistent. Once we got in there and I was laying down and everything like that, they totally like died off. They weren't very strong, were not consistent. And so I was just kind of chilling in there. I got my IV, got all situated and ready, and they had me all hooked up. And basically it was early, and we just decided to try and relax, take a nap if we can. They kept having to come in and adjust me because they were like losing the heartbeat with the monitor, and so I didn't really get to sleep any, but that's totally fine. Then they were starting to get consistent and to get stronger. I had to get up and go to the bathroom, and as I walked to the bathroom, I was just like gushing like so much liquid. That might sound really gross, but I was. And I had to go to the bathroom. I went to the bathroom and I had it just all down my legs, and Tuff had to like clean up my legs, and then I was able to go back, and then they were getting like so strong, so painful. But it was such a different experience than with Sean, because they didn't end up giving me any Pitocin, and I definitely think Pitocin makes your contractions so much more painful. I think more painful in the sense, like, early on, I was only at like 3 centimeters with Sean, and I was in a lot of pain. 3 centimeters with her, they were like, I could handle them. They felt fine. I was okay, like, for a while, and they got stronger and stronger. And then the lady comes in, our nurse comes in, and she's like, would you like an epidural? And I was like, yeah, but I don't do needles. Like, I do not do needles. And so with Sean, my epidural, I didn't feel. I was having such an intense contraction, and I was so just overwhelmed. I don't even remember feeling my epidural, and I was holding on to like a nurse, and I was just really trying to get through an insane contraction. This time she was like, well, he can either give you one right now, or you can wait until after this girl has like a C-section, I think it was something like that, because he wants to be here to monitor you and whatever. So I was like, yeah, that's okay. I'll wait, because I want him to be a little stronger, because the only way I could justify in my head going through the pain of an epidural or having that crazy ass needle, excuse my language, that crazy needle, would be to have like stronger contractions. And so then he's like, okay, they're waiting to do their C-section. I think she had a scheduled C-section. I'm not really sure the whole story. But they said, okay, we're waiting, so I'll go ahead and give you your epidural. And I was like, all right, you know. Then to that point, it was only like 20 minutes before when she talked to me about it, or a half hour when she talked to me about it. And I said, yeah, let's wait to 30 minutes later, and I was going to get one. And I was like, yeah, I need one right now, because in that 30 minutes, they got very painful. I was hurting very badly. But this time, however, I didn't have a nurse to hold on. I was shaking uncontrollably, and I felt that epidural. It hurt so bad. Not so much the actual needle going in. It was, once they, like, I don't know, whatever they do, I had crazy pain that went like from wherever it was injected, like down into like my right hip. Oh, it hurt so bad. It hurt so bad. I didn't have anyone to hold on to. I was trying to be so still, and I was having crazy shaking and contractions and everything. But once it was done, then I was laying down. They were still hurting. They were giving me a test dose, and then I broke out in like sweats, got really nauseous. Then after that, they gave me more medicine, and I finally like calmed down. Everything was good. I felt way better, and I didn't feel as sick or anything like that. With Sean, I threw up so much in my delivery, and I was just so nauseous and felt so sick. This time I didn't have that, which was super nice. But then once I was finally feeling relaxed, she was like, okay, you were at like, I think I was at like a 7 or something like that. And she's like, we'll wait a little while, and then when the doctor gets here, we'll check you again and see where you're at. So then she leaves, and as soon as she leaves, this is maybe a TMI part, I don't know. But I felt so much pressure, and I ended up I farted, and I was like, I'm so sorry, like, I am feeling crazy, like, I feel like she's coming out, like, she's coming out right now. And Tef's like, are you sure? And I'm like, no, like, there's something going on. And the doctor or the nurse had literally just walked out. So he's like, he goes out and gets her. She's saying this baby's coming. She comes in, checks me. I'm at 10 centimeters. This baby's coming now. So then doctor gets in, everybody gets situated. They do everything. And I think that was around 12:30, because I think I only pushed I ended up pushing for like 25 minutes, I think. She came out at 1 o'clock, exactly 1 o'clock. And I pushed for 3 hours with my first. 3 hours. I didn't even know that was a thing. 3 hours, this time 20 minutes. And it was so much nicer. I felt like I had so much more control over her delivery. Like, I felt like I could actually I felt more than I did with my first. And it went really great, actually. She came out 1 o'clock, and everything was good. And so I was in labor from 4:30 to 1 o'clock. So much shorter than my first. With Sean, I was in labor from 8 o'clock until 1 o'clock. I had him at 12:45 a.m. the next day. So much different in that aspect. And then at the hospital, my mom ended up bringing Sean, and he got to meet her. And honestly, he kind of acted like she wasn't there. He was like, oh, okay, cool, what's that? He's obviously really little, but he just didn't really, he was like, what's this hospital? Which I was kind of nervous with him coming to the hospital. He's been with me to my doctor's appointments, and he does not like seeing me up on like a table and stuff, but he did really well with me, and he did great with her. Mostly didn't really care. And yeah, and then we got a 24-hour discharge, and she latched and was nursing great right off the bat, and her bilirubin and everything was fantastic. And she did, however, she did not pass her hearing test, and so we did have to come back at 2 weeks, and she passed that. So yeah, and now we're at 6 weeks, and everything is great. Oh, I did not tear. I had a 2nd degree tear with my first, but this time I did not, and the healing process was just so much better. I felt afterwards like I had so much more control over my body than I did the first time. It really is a night and day difference between my first and my second. So yeah, that's my labor and delivery story with my baby girl, Austin. Yes. So thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Thank you.